Yeah! More energy, yo! Next I want to introduce our next speaker, Nate Tan. He's from the Asian prisoner support community and really want to share like some Southeast Asian education that I feel like is not heard, not taught, and we got unite with our Southeast Asian brothers and sisters.
Nate, dog. All right, we're gonna start off with the chant. So when I say when we fight, you all say we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. I don't think y'all ready to fight. Y'all sound weak. Y'all sound weak. All right, let's try this one more time. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. All right, my name is Nate. I'm with Asian Prisoner Support Committee. I've been working with men inside and formerly incarcerated men for the past half decade now. Some of y'all are out here. Shout out to my boy David out there. You don't have to put your hand up. We don't need to know where you've been. But I got into this work because as a Southeast Asian person, my parents are Cambodian refugees. And I think when we grow up, a lot of us look for a place where we don't have to explain ourselves. I don't want to have to explain to someone all the time why I eat rice with everything. I don't want to have to explain why every Cambodian person owns a donut shop. I don't want to explain why my family was too poor, so I ate eggs and rice most mornings, lunches, and dinners until they came home, right? So I grew up with a Cambodian community, but the more that I grew up and moved cities, I lost touch with a lot of my Cambodian community. I went through school, K through 12, with a lot of Cambodian folks, and when it was time to decide to go to college, I decided that I wasn't going to because I didn't do well. I decided I was going to be a mechanic. But my first job was at Great America, sweeping the trash. And then I met this girl, and she said, I thought she was cute, and I said, "Oh, do you want to go on a date?" And she says, "I only date guys who go to college." So I went to college. And I think that's the important part of the story, because when I went to college, I went to community college, I was like, where my Cambodians at? It was like crickets, it was like nobody. And then I was like, okay, maybe there's somewhere else. So I transferred, I went to UC Berkeley, I was like, where my Cambodians at? It was like dead ass silent. Then I went to graduate school, I didn't even ask the question at that point, because I knew no one was gonna respond. But while I was in graduate school, I wanted to do work with the Cambodian community. I felt like I still wanted to find a place where I didn't have to explain myself. So I volunteered, a mentor hit me up and said, hey, you want to volunteer inside San Quentin? And I said, sure. What we're gonna do? He's like, oh, we're gonna teach Asian American Studies, Ethnic Studies inside of San Quentin. My first day inside San Quentin State Prison, I met more Cambodians than I have in my entire K through college career. And I don't think that's a reflection of their character. I think it's a reflection of a system that has failed us as communities of color. I met guys who have been my mentors, who have been the most amazing leaders. I met Cambodian guys, Lao guys, Chinese guys, Vietnamese guys. There is an Asian American and Pacific Islander community in prison that we never hear about or never talk about. And unfortunately, a lot of them face deportation once they're released. And because they face deportation and because they have criminal records, a lot of them don't come forward and say, hey, I need help trying to stay with my family. I need help being in the US. Well, when I went inside, I met all these Cambodian guys. I was like, man, feels good to be around brothers where I don't have to explain myself. One of the first guys I met in there, his name is PJ. He's been inside since he was inside since he was 14 years old. 14 years old inside of an adult prison. After 19 years, he was found eligible for parole and was released and then later transferred to ICE. You don't know the pain it feels when you have to say goodbye to someone who's in ICE, right? You don't get to handshake, you don't get a hug, you just say bye behind orange plexiglass. That changes you. And for me, when I found a community that I didn't have to explain myself, a community that I really loved, I was like, I don't really want to lose this community. So I took some time off work. I organized this huge campaign with Asian Prisoner Support Committee, and we talked about how this guy who did hard time deserves to not be deported. He deserves to be with his family, because if you eliminate racism and poverty and sexism from our communities, a lot of us wouldn't end up in prison. So we launched a campaign. I traveled all across the state of California. We had over 40,000 pieces of support come in in support of PJ not getting deported. On the Friday before Mother's Day, I get a call from ICE. They say, "Hey, your boy PJ's getting released, come pick him up." We had 24 hours to come pick him up. We picked him up. I asked PJ, "Hey PJ, does anyone know that you're out?" He goes, "No, I'm gonna surprise everyone," which I actually don't think is a really great idea with our elderly parents. But anyway, I was like, "Yeah, you do you." So I took him. He met up at his family's house. He knocks on the door on the Friday before Mother's Day, and he hugs his mom for the first time after 19 years uninterrupted. And to date, Asian Prisoner Support Committee has seen the release of over 100 people from prison. We have prevented over 50 deportations to Asia. And we have returned people who have been deported at the very start of 2020. And I tell you this story because I think it's important to understand unity and what unity takes. When my grandma asked me, "Hey, what do you do?" I don't know how to explain in Khmer. I work with people in prison and make it sound good. So I carry a picture around of me with the guys inside, and I say, "Oh, I work with these guys. I want to get them home. I want to reunite them. You know, these are like men in blue. They're in prison." And my grandma says, "Why do you help these guys? They're criminals." And I said, "Because if it was me in there, you would do the same." And she said, "Of course I would." And I think that's what it takes for all of us to get to freedom. A unity for each other and a love for each other that drives us all to be free, right? So I want to end it with this. Recently, ICE came for the Cambodian community in Oakland, and the Cambodian elders and Cambodian young folks said, "Fuck that, we're gonna fight for our loved ones to stay," and they did. They fought for everyone to stay, plus 31 other Cambodians up in Northern California. So, we have a saying in this work that we don't stop doing this work until we free them all. So I'm gonna say free them, you all say all. Free them! All! Free them! All! Free them! All! All right, thank you.
Yeah! Thank you, Nate! Free them all! Okay. Yeah, just a reminder for everyone, if you did not get your button for today's event, please come to the table, get your button, and sign up for a Discord for our community so we can stay connected. And thank you so much, Nathan. And I want to introduce our next artist, Joe Murray from Stockton.